We finally got another Alien movie, boys. What's up? And we're back at it again with another film review. Guys, let's dive into the spooky, squishy, spacey nightmare that is Alien rom-com. I mean Alien Romulus. Which, by the way, likely references the mythological figure Romulus, the legendary founder of Rome, along with his twin brother Remus? I don't know. Is a symbol of origin, survival, and a violent birth of a new order. This connection may suggest themes of beginnings, foundation, and perhaps the brutal conditions under which new civilizations, or in this case, new forms of horror, arise. In the context of the Alien universe, the name Romulus could metaphorically relate to the birth of something terrifying and foundational within the series lore, possibly making a return to the franchise's origins while introducing a new chapter or entity that carries significant impact. It may also imply the creation or discovery of something that, like Romulus's Rome, is destined to grow into something powerful and enduring, a bit with a dark and violent genesis. These mythological and thematic parallels could be why the filmmakers chose the name Romulus for this installment and kept up the tradition of Greek names like Prometheus. Did they bring back the xenomorphs? Yeah, they did. They also brought back the facehuggers and all the existential dread you could ever want. But did they stick the landing? Let's find out. First off, the movie's like if you took the OG Alien and Aliens, shoved them into a blender with some VHS tapes of Blade Runner and a sprinkling of your favorite 80s horror flicks. It takes the formula and runs with it. Horror film with teens in space. It's as if you gave the original crew of Alien and Aliens and gave them updated film equipment and said go crazy. It pays homage and fan service in a respectful way. Fede Alvarez? Mr. Alvarez is the guy who brought us the Evil Dead remake. He knows how to make you squirm in your seat. And here, he's playing all the right notes, maybe a little too close to the originals at time. Set between the events of Alien and Aliens, the film is praised for capturing the claustrophobic terror that was defined by the earlier films. A classic trope in horror is isolation, and one of the most isolated places in existence is space. Perfect. The plot centers on a group of young people who, in a desperate bid to escape their grim existence on a mining colony, board an abandoned ship, only to encounter the deadly xenomorphs. The film's atmosphere is heavily influenced by the classic haunted house in space formula that made the original so effective. The production design and practical effects are especially noteworthy, with a deliberate move away from heavy CGI in favor of tangible, lived-in environments that heighten the tension and realism. This return to practical effects is a major point of praise as it creates a more immersive and terrifying experience for the audience. We're talking practical effects that looks like they crawled right out of Ridley Scott's fever dream. There's some seriously gnarly creature designs here. The space station where the unlucky crew of Gen Z minders end up feels more lived in than my old room full of N64 games. There's a real effort to make the environment feel gritty, grimy, and full of history, like the people lived and died here long before our crew showed up and made some bad decisions. And yeah, they made some real bad decisions. Let's talk characters. We got Callie Spaney as Rain, who's basically the 2024's answer to Sigourney Weaver's Ripley. She's tough but kind of forgettable. She's just trying to survive, and honestly, who wouldn't be? But the real star here is David, playing Andy as the synthetic. This dude's playing mind games with everybody, including us. Half the time I don't know whether to be rooting for him or be freaked out. And honestly, that's how you know he's nailing it. There isn't specific information available that confirms whether the character Andy is explicitly portrayed as autistic. However, the characters who are synthetics or androids in the Alien franchise often display traits that could be interpreted as being on the spectrum, such as difficulty with social interactions, a focus on logic and task, and a unique way of perceiving and processing the world around them. David Johnson's portrayal of Andy is noted for its complexity and making the character intriguing and enigmatic, with audiences unsure whether to fear or sympathize with him. This ambiguity has led to many different interpretations, one where Andy's behavior could be seen through the lens of neurodiversity. However, with no clear confirmation from the filmmakers, any conclusion would be speculative. Another noteworthy observation is his portrayal has interesting layers when you consider his race. In science fiction, synthetics often represent the other, beings created, owned, and often exploited by humans, drawing parallels to historical and ongoing issues of slavery and racism. By casting a black actor as Andy, the film may subtly invoke these themes, whether intentionally or not. The parallels between Andy's existence as a synthetic and the historical treatment of black people as property or slaves add a deeper layer. Synthetics in the Alien franchise often grapple with questions of autonomy, identity, and purpose, much like how marginalized groups have historically fought for the recognition and rights. Moreover, Andy struggles with this program directives, and the way he perceives by others could reflect social prejudice faced by black people, who are often judged and constrained by societal expectations and biases. This interpretation suggests that Andy's character might be seen as commentary on the intersection of race, identity, and the human fear of the other. However, these themes are more interpretative than explicit. The film does not overtly address race. Still, casting David Johnson as Andy adds a significant layer of complexity that invites the viewers to explore these possible connections. But okay, this movie's not perfect. The audio mixing, yikes. It's like they recorded the first 30 minutes in a wind tunnel or something. I couldn't make out half the exposition, which is kind of important when you're dealing with plot, and also the accents are kind of hard to understand without subtitles. But hey, I understand why. Our boy Ridley is British, and since he's producing the film with his company scot-free, why not? Don't even get me started on the CGI resurrection of Ian Holmes' character from the first Aliens. They try to go for that sweet fan service, but just ends up looking like something creepy from a deep fake video. That being said, if you're into old school haunted house in space vibe, Romulus delivers. It's got the thrills, it's got the chills, and enough gooey body horror to make you question your life choices. It's like watching your favorite horror franchise come back to life, but this time with a bit more self-awareness. The plot might be thinner than my hairline, but sometimes you just want to see some aliens eat people, you know? In the end, Alien Rom-Com isn't here to revolutionize the franchise. It's more of the greatest hits album with a few new tracks, and honestly, I'm okay with that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go rewatch the originals and remind myself why I never want to go into space. Catch you later, Space Cowboys. Oh my god, this is so cheesy. It's in the script, but hey, whatever. This is here. It's a reference to Cowboy Bebop. Okay, go watch that. It's a great show. Whatever.